Xbox, as you know it, is over. Well, not exactly. Recent news just came out thanks to Jason Schreier of Bloomberg, a report that Amy Hood, Satya Nadella, and the Microsoft part of the Xbox division have now mandated that Xbox operate at a 30% profit margin. This is higher than the industry standard because right now, PlayStation is operating anywhere from 8 to 16% in an operating profit margin over the past fiscal year. And Xbox themselves have been able to reach 10 to 20% profit margin. This is why Xbox has been in the doom and gloom news cycle for the entirety of the year of 2025. This is also the reason behind the price hikes, the layoffs, and the studio closures. Microsoft responded to this 30% operating profit margins and said, quote, "We take a long-term view in how we run our business and set goals. We aim high but stay flexible, knowing that success doesn't look the same across every project or priority. We look at the business as a whole, balancing creativity, innovation, and sustainability across a diverse portfolio of offerings. As with any creative business, sometimes that means making hard decisions and stopping work on things that are no longer working for a variety of reasons, and shifting resources toward the projects that are more aligned with our direction and priorities. And while each team and project may vary from each other, one goal we share across the whole business is to make great games and deliver experiences our players will enjoy for years to come." Close quote. Oh, they do care about gaming. Look at that. Yeah, they're saying priorities. They really just mean if a game looks like it's not going to sell or make their money back, they need to chop it off as quickly as possible. Hey, and that's how you run a corporation. Unfortunately for us as gaming fans, it means more to us than just business and corporate affairs. Amy Hood, the CFO of Microsoft, in charge of all the financial decisions that are pushing a brand that mostly works with Windows and now a huge push in AI, has put massive pressure on the Xbox gaming division, a division that's been very expensive with over $80 billion invested. All of this began in 2022 when Phil Spencer decided he wanted to acquire Activision, Blizzard, and King. And after the ABK acquisition in 2023, Xbox has been in a doom spiral with major price hikes, bringing a ton of their tentpole games to PlayStation and trying to push a more multi-platform approach, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Amy Hood, the CFO, has had major concerns over all of the investment being made into Xbox, the gaming division, and the return on investment with Call of Duty and other big titles making an impact on how Xbox is perceived with their revenue and their investment. All of this has eroded a ton of goodwill for the Xbox brand, and right now, amongst the gaming media, gaming fans, and just the general public looking at the name Xbox, is now saying they are a shell of their former selves and they'll never recover and never be the brand they once were. Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond, who are head of the gaming division for Xbox and Microsoft, are trying to tell the world that they're bigger and better than ever. And they're expanding to, this is an Xbox and you can choose to play on a TV, you can choose to play on a phone, a handheld, and even play their games across PlayStation and PC. And now they're in a position where any type of rumor or news that paints Xbox in a bad light, or any rumor that something possibly bad is going to happen, everyone expects the worst and they believe it. That goodwill has been absolutely destroyed. Amy Hood has made such strict expectations on the Xbox gaming division when it comes to how much money they make, because Phil Spencer reported they were losing almost $100 on each unit. This is Amy Hood and Microsoft saying you are no longer going to lose money on the consoles, and the only way to keep from doing that is to hike the price, or they're just not going to be available because across the world or over in Europe or Japan, where they lose even more money every time they sell a console. And the negative Xbox news cycle has been so prominent and so frequent that even regular fans are saying they've had enough. They're tired. They're ready to move on. And this all comes at a time when Xbox is at their absolute peak of games releases. Amy Hood and Satya Nadella want a sure thing when it comes to the Xbox gaming division, and that means a sure thing with their franchises and their games. They've already communicated that they want to pare down to the really good, highly successful, tried and true franchises, which essentially means if you're an Xbox fan, be prepared to mostly see Call of Duty, Minecraft, Candy Crush, Fallout, and Halo, Gears, and Forza. This is a big problem because some of Xbox's studios are really creating creative and new ideas and fresh open world games, RPGs, and so many iconic, interesting games that break the mold and are supposed to get fans excited. The problem that also is a major risk to Microsoft. They look at something like Clockwork Revolution or Everwild from Rare and they think, how much money is that actually going to make? Because right now, game developers are spending $100 million to $300 million over a 6 to 7 year game dev cycle, only to sell 3 to 4 million copies at the most, especially when it comes to Xbox games. And those games are available on Game Pass. But Xbox and Microsoft are going to be looking at these numbers and how much these people are billing every single month, year on year, to create games and then see how much they actually sell. The one thing that these studios have going for them is they're not particularly super expensive to run because they're smaller teams. If you put out a game after 5 or 6 years and it barely makes any money in the grand scheme of the rest of the peers, then there are things like closing the studio down or finding someone else to buy them. And I actually think Microsoft will be looking to sell these studios off before they decide to close them. Microsoft is aggressively using this 30% margin to bring in AI to offset the time and labor hours that are being put in to make these games, test them, and get them ready for market. So a combination of hiking the price of Game Pass, charging more for games, and taking DLC and certain things off of the Game Pass service, trying to put some of their games at $80 or leaving them at $70, hiking the price of the console and even the dev kits if you're a developer, so they continue to make as much money as possible. Also, while cutting costs and corners by using AI could mean that Xbox could hold on to most of these studios. But insiders are saying that contractors and other employees at studios are very worried right now because Xbox and Microsoft are looming over them and giving them unreal expectations. But it's not over yet. Xbox has major plans, and everybody seems to think the Xbox we now know or we've known for a long time is gone. And Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer are really trying to hone in the core audience and bring in new fans into the ecosystem and grow their business as large as possible by pushing it to all kinds of different screens. But next generation is part of that change. And Sarah Bond said in a recent interview that the next generation Xbox will be a hybrid PC console. It'll be a very premium and very curated device. And this to me is a PC form factor console that has the Xbox full screen experience that they've shown off in the Xbox ROG Ally commercials and trailers. And this means turn on your controller, launch your Xbox system, grab all your games and just start playing them without using a mouse and keyboard, and just get a console-like experience with way more power. The very premium thing means that the Xbox next generation will be anywhere from $800 to, some people are saying, as high as $1,500. I'm gonna tell you right now that if you're worried about a $1,500 console or a PC console, just think about the Xbox ROG Ally. It's $1,000, it's got about $250 worth of a lithium battery and a screen, all in that form factor that makes it that much money. This next Xbox will just be a box with silicon and a fan and come with a controller. So I would venture to guess that now the baseline price for the consoles is around $700, thanks to the PS5 Pro, which is a base model price console at this point, and the Xbox is supposed to be much more expensive. There is a whole video I've made about the price and the specs of that versus the PlayStation 6. I will link that here at the end of the video, but this is what they expect to do. Give you a high power, premium device that gives you access to millions of PC games and every single game from your Xbox library. This is where Xbox is going. The rumors of Microsoft gaming taking over and the Xbox name going away, keep this in mind. The name Xbox is the best thing they have going for them. Out of all the mistakes and shortcomings and complaints I've had about the way they've run the business over the past 10 years, the name Xbox is the strongest thing they have going forward. And to move that brand to become a place where 30-some publishers and studios are making games for them, the place where you can get 500 games every single month a la carte through Game Pass, and they'll continue to hike that price, of course. This is the only way they can survive in the market. This will be their last first-party device. This hybrid console that is really more than a PC than even the consoles are right now will be the last one that'll get us into the 2030s. And I think Xbox will still be around by then, but the way they look and how they do business has completely changed because of Microsoft, and that's not going to get any better. This is Colteastwood. Thank you for taking the time to sit and listen to everything I had to talk about. It's been a very difficult time. I appreciate everybody who's been here to support me. I will continue to talk about all of the things that Xbox, Microsoft, PlayStation, and the games industry is bringing to us, because all of these games are going to be available to more people than ever before. If you ended up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new weekly content. If you want to further support what we're doing here on the Colteastwood channel to keep the lights on and keep the content flowing, you can do that by hitting the join button below. That join button will get you early access for videos, giveaways, and so much more. Check out the Patreon if you'd like to join the superclass and learn how to do some of this yourself, how to do stuff on YouTube, how to do lighting and camera, audio, production. I've got 20 years experience in graphic design and communication, and we can have good long discussions and tutorials about how to get this stuff done and have your voice out there just like this. Also, check out the XSC podcast. That's a weekly podcast that runs 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday. And we will break down all the gaming news as it unfolds and as Microsoft explains what's going on, the changes to come. Let me know what you think about everything. The opinions will be strong. Please keep them constructive and have a good discussion in there. And as I always say, please be nice.